She was standing right on my porch when I came back from the hardware store, arms crossed, sunglasses on, and that fake smile she always had before starting trouble. I had just changed the front door locks because someone had been tampering with them lately. Before I could even test the new key, she shouted, "You can't do that! These locks belong to the HOA!" I turned slowly, holding the screwdriver still in my hand. "These locks belong to my house, Karen." Her tone went from fake sweet to sharp. "I run this neighborhood. Everything here goes through me. You can't just change things without permission." I laughed under my breath. "Permission? To secure my own home?" Her face flushed red. "Don't you get smart with me. I'll call 911 right now. You're violating HOA safety codes." Before I could answer, she already had her phone to her ear, yelling loud enough for everyone on the street to hear. "Yes, there's a man tampering with a house he doesn't own. He's being aggressive." I stood there, stunned. A few neighbors peeked from their windows, whispering. One even started recording. Within minutes, 2 police cars pulled up. The officers stepped out cautiously, hands near their belts. "Sir, step away from the door." Karen rushed toward them, waving her arms. "That's him! He's been breaking into this property. He doesn't even live here." I couldn't believe it. I'd lived in this house for 8 years, paid every bill, every tax, and even repaired the roof myself. But I could see the doubt in one officer's eyes as he looked between us. Then I noticed something strange. Karen's hand was shaking, not from fear, but from excitement. Like she wanted this drama. She was enjoying it. "Ma'am," one officer asked, "do you have proof this man doesn't live here?" She smirked. "Of course. I'm the HOA president. I have all the records." She pulled out a folder from her tote bag and handed it over, proudly. But I saw what she didn't want me to see. A seal that looked off. A fake HOA logo printed on cheap paper. I stayed quiet, watching the officer's eyes narrow as he flipped through the pages. He looked up at her and said, "Ma'am, where did you get these documents?" Karen froze for half a second, then forced the laugh. "Well, from the community office, obviously." The other officer turned to me and said, "Sir, can you show proof this is your home?" I nodded and pulled my wallet out slowly. "I can do better than that," I said, unlocking my phone. "You see that security camera? It records everything, including her trying to pry this door open last week." Karen's smile vanished instantly. And that was the first time I saw fear in her eyes instead of arrogance. The officers exchanged a quick look before one of them gestured toward the camera above my porch. "Can we see the footage, sir?" Karen started panicking. "You don't need to see that. He probably faked it. He's been causing trouble here for months." I unlocked my phone, opened the app, and played the clip. The sound of metal scraping filled the air, followed by Karen's unmistakable voice saying, "If he won't follow the rules, I'll just make him leave myself." The officer's eyebrows went up. Karen took a step back, her confidence crumbling. That's edited," she stammered. The younger cop crossed his arms. "Ma'am, this footage is time-stamped and uploaded to a cloud account. Doesn't look edited to me." For a moment, the whole street was silent. Then one of my neighbors, old Mr. Riley from across the road, shouted, "We told you to stop harassing him, Karen." Her glare snapped toward him. "Stay out of this, Harold." But Harold didn't back down. "You called 911 on a man for changing his own locks. You've gone too far this time." Karen's face twisted in anger. "You all live here because of me. I keep this neighborhood safe and organized." I couldn't help it. I laughed. "You mean controlled? You think running a Facebook group makes you the law?" One officer turned toward me with a half smile before regaining his serious tone. "Ma'am, we're going to need to verify your HOA position and these so-called records." Karen's voice wavered. You can't just question me like that. I'll call my attorney." "Please do.
the officer said calmly. "We'll wait." She froze again, realizing they weren't buying her act. Her hand hovered over her phone, but she didn't dial. Instead, she tried one last desperate move. She pointed at my front door and shouted, "He's dangerous! He threatened me before!" The officers looked at me, waiting. I didn't even flinch. "Officer, my wife works for the county sheriff's department. You can call her station right now if you want." That changed everything. The older officer nodded slowly. "We'll do that." Karen's mouth dropped open. "Wait, your wife's a—" "Deputy," I said, cutting her off. "And she's probably going to love hearing that you filed a false report against her husband." Karen went pale. She started mumbling something about a misunderstanding, trying to collect her fake papers, but the officer stopped her hand. "Ma'am, these stay with us." And just like that, the power shifted. She knew it. Everyone watching knew it.
Karen's confidence drained faster than the color from her face. She tried to smile again, that same nervous smile she used whenever she got caught but didn't want to admit it. "This is all just a mix-up," she said, forcing a laugh. "I was only trying to protect the neighborhood." The older officer crossed his arms. "By breaking into someone's house? That's not how neighborhood safety works, ma'am." She turned toward me with pleading eyes. "You could have just told me you were changing the locks." "I did," I replied calmly. "You tore down the notice I put on the door." Karen blinked. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. The crowd was growing now. Neighbors gathering at the edge of their lawns, whispering. Phones out, cameras recording. This time it wasn't me under the spotlight, it was her. One of the officers spoke into his radio, quietly relaying details. Karen caught it and stepped closer. "Wait, are you arresting me?" "Not yet," he said, "but we need you to stay right here." She gasped. "You can't do this to me! I'm the HOA president!" The officer looked unimpressed. "According to the county records we just pulled up, this neighborhood doesn't even have a registered HOA." That hit like a bomb. A wave of murmurs went through the crowd. Someone even said, "I knew it!" Karen spun around. "What are you talking about? Of course we have one. I have files." "Fake ones," I cut in, holding up my phone showing the HOA registry site. "No listings, no charter, no registration number. You've been pretending to run this place." Her face crumpled. "I was just trying to keep order. People need rules. Without me, this place would fall apart." I looked her dead in the eye. "No, Karen, you just like control." The silence that followed was sharp. Even the birds had stopped. Then, from behind the officers, a familiar SUV pulled up, the county sheriff's vehicle. My wife stepped out, badge glinting under the sun. She took one look at me, then at Karen, and sighed. "You again?" Karen froze like she'd seen a ghost. You're his wife?" "Deputy Sarah Hayes. And you filed 3 false reports in the past month. I warned you last time." She stammered. I didn't mean—" My wife stepped closer, calm but firm. "You called 911, lied about a break-in, and harassed a homeowner on his own property. That's misuse of emergency services. You know what that means, right?" Karen took a step back, trembling. "Please, no, there must be another way." The officers exchanged a look, then nodded at my wife. And that's when she said it, the line that made the whole street cheer. "Karen, you said you run this neighborhood? Good. Then you can run it from the county jail tonight."
Karen's scream echoed down the street as the officers guided her toward the patrol car.
"You can't do this. I was only trying to help. This whole neighborhood will fall apart without me."
Nobody moved to defend her. The same people she used to boss around, demanding lawn checks and threatening fines, were now quietly filming, whispering things like, "Finally." My wife stayed calm, professional, reading her rights in that steady voice that always made people realize she wasn't bluffing.
Karen kept struggling, her words spilling out faster and weaker. He's dangerous. You're making a mistake. Karen, my wife said softly, the only mistake was you thinking you could play sheriff in someone else's town. The officers placed her in the back of the car, the door slammed, and for the first time in years, the street was silent. No fake HOA flyers, no loud confrontations, just quiet. I turned toward my wife, half expecting her to scold me for getting into another mess. Instead, she smiled faintly. "New locks look good," she said. I laughed. Hopefully they keep the right people out this time. As the patrol cars rolled away, a few neighbors walked over. Mr. Riley patted my shoulder. "About time someone stood up to her. We all wanted to, but you actually did it." I shrugged. I just wanted peace in my own home. He nodded. "You earned it." My wife slipped her hand into mine as we watched the last car disappear around the corner. The sun was setting behind the houses, warm light spilling across the porch that Karen had claimed as her inspection zone. It finally felt like home again. Then, just as I started to relax, my phone buzzed with a new notification from the security app. Motion detected at the side fence. I frowned. That's odd. The police just left. My wife leaned over to look. The camera feed flickered for a second, showing a shadow moving near the trash cans. A familiar voice whispered faintly from the speaker, "This isn't over." Karen's voice. My wife looked at me. "She's out already?" I exhaled slowly, locking eyes with the camera. "If she wants a war, she just picked the wrong house." Because what Karen didn't know was I'd already filed a restraining order, and by morning, she wouldn't just be banned from my property, she'd be banned from the entire neighborhood she claimed to run. And as the porch light clicked on, I couldn't help but smile. You can't control everyone, Karen. Some of us fight back the right way. The next day, the county officially confirmed it. There had never been any HOA here. The false documents she made were evidence now, sitting in a file marked People versus Karen Blake. The neighborhood finally felt free. Kids played outside again, neighbors smiled without fear, and every porch light glowed a little brighter. And me? I just changed one thing on my front gate. A new sign that read, "Private property, real owner lives here." This time, nobody argued.